Hello, welcome to the Onyx Path News. My name is Matthew Dawkins, and I am here once again with some exciting news. Do I start every episode by saying it's been exciting news? What can I say? It's an exciting job that I am fortunate enough to have. And the first bit of news, which I have no doubt if you follow me on any social media, and in fact, if you follow the Onyx Path on any social media, you will already be aware of, is that we have released the Ashcan Edition for the World Below. That is linked below. And the Ashcan Edition, if you've never heard the term before, an Ashcan Edition is sort of part introduction, part Jumpstart, just enough to get you going with the game and give you a good feel of what this game is about. The World Below's Ashcan contains characters, it contains powers, it contains the rules, it contains some antagonists, it contains a scenario. It gives you a little bit of introduction to the setting of the World Below. It's basically in video game terms, you might call it a vertical slice. It tells you basically all the major beats, or a lot of the major beats of the game, and gets you up and running. You can use the Ashcan Edition to run a game with no issues whatsoever. So I very much recommend this. What I am absolutely stunned and pleased to see is how many excellent ratings we've received so far on Drive-Thru RPG for the World Below. I have been asking for people to rate and review. As you know, if you watch the Onyx Path News with any regularity, you know that's one of my big things. I always ask people to rate and review things. It is especially imperative for new products, because while they're in the charts, people are going to look at them and they're going to see, well, what do other customers think? So my request to you is, if you have picked up a copy of the Ashcan, it's only $4.99, so I think most people could probably afford it if you are in the market for a game. $4.99 is not much at all. Pick a copy up, and if you like it, leave us a rating and review. If you've already got a copy, leave a rating and review. It takes less than a minute. You just need to click the link below. It will take you through to Drive-Thru RPG, and if you already have a copy, you will be able to just click your rating. That's all there is to it. It really does help. Now, the World Below Ashcan Edition, which we'll probably do some special videos on as well as time goes by, is not the only thing we released last week. We also released the Adventure Jumpstart. Adventure, because it ends with an exclamation mark, means it is already up there in the pantheon of games I adore, because, as you know from all the They Came Froms, I love a game with an exclamation mark on the end. The Jumpstart throws you in the middle of the action of your lovely 1920s, 30s pulp, swinging fists and foiling robberies, that kind of thing. Once again, much like the World Below Ashcan Edition, the Jumpstart for Adventure gives you the tools you need to get a game up and running. It's a slimmed down version of the Trinity Continuum to help you get into adventure right there and then. And once again, at a really low price point. So I sincerely recommend you check one or both of these out if you're in the market for a new game. On one hand, you've got subterranean fantasy with some survivalism, some exploration and wonder. On the other, you've got pulp, action, swinging fists, punching Nazis, stealing treasures, and generally being heroic. Of course, exploring lost kingdoms in the middle of jungles and in the center of the earth is also a necessary part of any good game of adventure. That isn't the only bit of news, because last week we also happened to conclude our Kickstarter for They Came From the RPG Anthology. And wouldn't you know it, by the end of that campaign, we had hit all the stretch goals we had listed, plus, near the end, a backer decided to back at the highest tier. This was right at the end, and this highest tier, I won't go into numbers, but it was a big one, because you could back and select a chapter for inclusion in the game. So not only did we hit the stretch goal that added a chapter, this backer also funded to add another chapter. So as well as all of the things we've been talking about, noir and westerns and space opera and costume drama and Shakespearean theatre, we also now have meticulously planned bank jobs. So we've got heists, we've got billiard room with the candlesticks and murder mysteries, we've got capes and cowls, superhero, we have a vast behind, which is pirates and adventure movies. And we also have one that is the writer's choice. So the writers are putting their heads together and coming up with a decision there. And we will have one that is the choice of this particularly generous backer. So what excellent news. I can't confirm what yet because of the vagaries of finances. We have to make sure that all the money is in and so on and so forth. We have to reach out to this backer, but wonderful news. Really, it couldn't have concluded in a better way. So thank you so much to everyone who supported us on the RPG Anthology. It was a wonderful campaign. Fantastic to have all the backer feedback that was going on during it. All the polls as well kept things energized and kept people talking about what they wanted to see. So let's see what happens with those 2 mysterious additional chapters. One other thing I wanted to point out to you, and I think it is wonderful to revisit, is we released Exalted Essence in PDF and print on demand 2 weeks ago. Now, typically I don't mention something that was released a couple of weeks before because I don't want to muddy the waters. Exalted Essence, though, is a rather special project because it is the painstaking output of a game that has been refined to be played more quickly. It hits all the major beats. It basically makes Exalted 3rd edition more accessible and also allows you to play every kind of Exalt type from one book. So it's not a small thing. Exalted Essence is doing really well for us, and so is the World Below Ashcan Edition for that matter. They are both very high on the charts as of time of recording and Drive-Thru RPG. So please continue to give us your support. If you're interested in a new game, Exalted Essence, finally you can get into Exalted without having to at all worry about any of the previous canon. With the Adventure Jumpstart, you can get yourself into Adventure for the first time, and with the World Below Ashcan Edition, you can get yourself a new fantasy game that is built to be accessible for a new player. With all that said, I'm going to bid you adieu. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next week.